Hey girlfriend, it's your girl Melissa with the Hey Girlfriend podcast, and I want to welcome you back to season 3 of the podcast, Help I'm Wounded. Today we will ever so tenderly tackle father wounds. Whether your father was absent, emotionally distant, or unable to give you the love and affirmation you needed, those experiences can leave deep imprints on our hearts, our identity, and even our relationships with others. But healing is our portion, and it begins with truth, grace, and a willingness to confront what has been buried. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's get to healing. Hey, girlfriend. All right, so today we are going to be tackling or addressing the father wound. So help, I'm father wounded. All right, so what is a father wound? A father wound is a deep hurt that forms when a father is absent or neglectful, maybe abusive, overly critical, or emotionally unavailable. A father wound looks like, or should I say, feels like our heart is suffering the absence of something that we desperately needed, like love or their affirmation, their presence, their protection, or even an emotional connection in general. Okay. So a father wound doesn't have to be something that's super obvious for everyone else to see. And especially if you grew up in hush-hush culture like me. Okay, because we kept all this stuff under the rug, you know? Like a friend was saying, like, we went on in that house, stayed in that house. And that is truth. We grew up in hush-hush culture, okay? It doesn't even have to be a physical wound. It can be emotional. Either way, a father wound is something that has left a lasting impression on how you see yourself, how you treat others, or how others treat you. And if any of that is toxic, then we need to heal. For some of you listening, your father wound looks like physical abandonment. Okay, so they were physically absent. For others who are listening, your father wound may have been emotional. So they were they were present physically, but emotionally they were distant. So maybe you suffered like a lack of affection or praise. Maybe you didn't hear things like, I'm proud of you, I love you, or even them like just speaking into your future. So I do want to say this. I just want to speak this hard truth real quick. You're not alone. You are not alone. Father wounds are far more common than we actually talk about. Again, especially if you grew up in hush-hush culture like I did. Okay, we don't talk about these things. And no matter how old you get, there is this inner child who still longs to be seen, longs to be loved, longs to be affirmed by a father figure. And today, and beyond today, we are going to tend to that inner child. And yes, I said we. Yes, we are. Okay, so father wounds, they don't stay in our past. I wish that they did. I wish it was that simple. All right. They do not stay in our past. They don't stay in our childhood. They don't stay in our teen years or our young adult years. They travel to wherever we are until we heal. They show up in the way that we live. They show up in the way that we love, or maybe the way we receive love. They even show up in our belief systems. So if you haven't healed from any of these things, they are still showing up today. Now, the signs may not be so obvious to you right now, but we're going to uncover some of these things, okay? But I'm telling you, these wounds are showing up. They're showing up in your relationships, in your decision-making. And if you are a God's girl like me, it is absolutely showing up in how you relate to God. So let's look at a few of behaviors that are connected with being father wounded. Number one, approval seeking. When a father doesn't give you consistent love or consistent affirmation, and notice I'm saying consistent, it can leave you constantly striving to earn worth. Okay, so it looks like, ooh, pick me, see me, hear me, pick me, right? It looks like overachieving, people pleasing, or maybe you being a perfectionist. Okay, is any of this relating to you? Does any of this make sense? You may believe if I just do more or be better, he'll see me or he'll validate me. Or you could be saying, if I just do more, if I can do better, I will feel validated. That was me. I was chasing the well done that would never come. Number two, fear of abandonment or rejection. If your father was not present, whether it be physically or emotionally, it can create this deep fear that others will leave too. And this puts you in such a dangerous and desperate place. You will cling to relationships, whether they are healthy or toxic, or you may push good people away before they even get a chance to hurt you. Because the father wound leaves this unspoken belief that love is not safe, or it's not going to last, or it won't stick around. Okay, that was also me. Number three, difficulty trusting others. Father wounds can damage our ability to trust other men or even ourselves. So we walk around with our guards up, not fully letting people in. And I'm talking about good people, good quality people, not toxic people. Okay, good quality people, right? We end up repelling them, okay? We end up adopting this inner belief that they're going to fail us the same way that our fathers did. Even when someone shows themselves to be trustworthy, we will still feel unsafe. And it's nothing that they did, but it's something that our fathers did. And I don't know about you, but I refuse to allow that wound to fester and affect me having a healthy romantic relationship with a man. That's just too expensive. That's just too expensive. Girl, we cutting costs over here, okay? Tariffs. That's all I'm saying. I have to joke a little bit because this is a hefty thing that we're talking about, and I kind of want to just bring some lightheartedness so we can laugh at the same time, all right? So number four, struggles with identity and self-worth. Many people with father wounds, they wrestle with a deep sense of just not being enough. So they start questioning themselves who am I? Am I enough? Am I worthy of love? Will I be accepted? Can I be accepted? Am I too much? Okay. This too is a dangerous place because you will end up adopting any identity, whether it be true to you or not. And you surely won't have a concept of self-worth, which means people will take full advantage of you. If you do not have a concept of self-worth, people will take full advantage of you. And some of these people fully know it, and that is why they are in your life. Now, the last one I want to share real quick, I didn't want to go without saying this, because if you are a God's girl like me, this may be you. My number 5 was, you will have a distorted view of God as a good father. Y'all, this was all the way me. I mean, all the way me. I associated God with my earthly father. That's how I viewed him. So the things that I experienced with my earthly father, in some ways that maybe not to its fullest extent, I associated those things with God. So I believed that I had to do all these things to be seen, to be heard, or even be acknowledged. So I had to people please, I had to overachieve, and I really couldn't trust. And it truly affected my belief system. It affected my faith. But when I healed, I realized that God was not a reflection of my earthly father at all. He was the perfection of what my earthly father was meant to be. I'm going to say that again. When I healed, I realized that God was not a reflection of my earthly father at all. He was the perfection of what my earthly father was meant to be. Okay, so I want to share a portion of my story. Everything that I have talked about, so when I'm talking about the behaviors, the points, right? These are things that I experienced. So my father was married to my mother. He was an over-the-road truck driver. So I didn't see him all the time. I remember seeing him on weekends, and over time, I just noticed that time became less and less. My father had went on to live a double life. That's what I call it, a double life. He was unfortunately unfaithful to my mom, and he had an entire family with another woman, which caused him to be even more absent because now he was financially providing for both families, which means he had to work more. He couldn't be present with both families, obviously, and in situations like this, you end up being forced to choose. What I realized was that he was more absent with my mom and us as, his family than he was with the family he created through infidelity. As it pertains to me as a kid, dance recitals, school concerts, award ceremonies, graduations, my dad did not attend those things. He was absent. In fact, my dad didn't even know that I went to college, that I attended college or graduated college until my oldest went off to college. So my father is a very proud grandfather. And he was proud of my daughter, who was his first granddaughter. She was going to college. And I remember him making the comment of finally, somebody from me, from his bloodline was going to college. And I remember sitting there what? What you talking about? I was like, I went to college. I graduated college. He was like, you did? I'm like, yes, Dad, I did. But he didn't know. Even though my mother, she was married to my father until she died, she raised me and my brother as a single mother. And all the behaviors I mentioned beforehand, they were my behaviors. They were my behaviors pre-healing era. Now, this is not to say anything later on, this is me talking about my childhood, my young adulthood, and so on. I will say as a grandfather, he has showed up differently. But there's other factors, unfortunately, that also are kind of intertwined, which we will talk about later on in other episodes, because I'm not going to unleash everything right now. And I don't want this to come off as a bashing thing. We are right now no contact. We have been for a year. We're going to talk about no contact as well later on in some episodes. But I do want to make a difference or differentiate between no contact and the silent treatment. No contact is not the silent treatment. The silent treatment is meant to either manipulate or control. No contact is about boundaries. I have set healthy boundaries, and he chose whether or not to respect them. He has the free will to do so. He has the free will to respect or not, my boundaries. It is not my job to convince him. It is my job just to lay it out. And then it is my job to follow through with my response of adhering to healthy boundaries. So if somebody decides that they will not adhere to a healthy boundary, it is our job to act accordingly. Healthy boundaries are for our protection. All right. This sets a clear line of what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. And as we continue on with the series, I will be sharing relatable stories. But I just want to pause real quick because I want to take a moment of reflection. And then I do want to get into the healing steps, okay? I try to keep these under 30 minutes, y'all. So I'm trying to dive deep, but briefly. All right. So I'm hoping that you're getting something out of this. Okay, so let's get into reflection. Reflection is not about judgment, okay? Reflection is about awareness. Healing begins when we have the courage to look inward with honesty and grace, and I'm going to need you to grant yourself some grace. If you have signed up for my emails on my website, you will get this in a download, okay? What I'm going to go over, you will get this in a download. If you have not, you can go to my website at www.melissabaez.com. That's MELISSA. B as in boy, AEZ.com. Sign up for the emails because I'm going to be sending things out through the duration of this season. And now, I promise you, I don't send all kinds of junk. I don't like junk mail, y'all. I don't like junk mail. So I'm not sending all kinds of stuff. It's just going to be some things that are pertaining to, some research that are pertaining to the podcast. Okay, so you can either grab a journal or you can close your eyes. I just want you to consider these questions. First one is, have I been chasing approval or striving to prove my worth? Have I been chasing approval or striving to prove my worth? Do I find it hard to trust others? And if you're a God girly, do you find it hard to trust God? Number 3, am I afraid of being rejected or abandoned? Number 4, how do I feel when I hear the word Father? Like, what comes up for me emotionally or spiritually? And the last one is, have I been carrying silent questions about my identity or my value? What I want you to do is I just want you to sit with whatever comes up, okay? There is no pressure. We're not fixing every single thing right now, okay? This is a safe space where you can feel, and I just want you to take notice how you react, how your body reacts, how your emotions react, right? And if you start to feel overwhelmed, I just want you to breathe. And then you go back to it later, okay? We will come back to this later, all right? So let's get to the healing. So number 1, all right? If this is you, the approval seeking that I mentioned earlier, this is what you are going to want to do or going to need to do. You are going to embrace grace over performance. So begin to separate your worth from your work. I want to make sure I enunciate that right and make sure that you heard me the right way. Begin to separate your worth from your work. You are not loved for what you do. You are loved for who you are. And you're going to want to practice slowing down. Y'all, this was hard for me. If you know, you know. I'm telling you, if you know me, you know I'm always on the go. I was always going. I was always doing. I didn't need the caffeine. I was the caffeine, okay? I was the café con leche. No, I still am the café con leche, just in a different way. No, I'm just playing. All right, back to the healing. All right, so you are going to want to practice resting without the guilt. Again, that was a difficult thing for me. Practice resting without guilt, and you're going to have to build yourself up. That means speaking affirmations to yourself. What do you need to hear? Speak those things into yourself. Number 2, if you have fear of abandonment or rejection, if this is you, you are going to want to begin to build secure connections and a healthy community. All right? Start following your own patterns. Do you tend to chase love or avoid love? All right? Honest assessment, y'all. Honest assessment. Do you tend to chase love or avoid love? And you're going to need to take an honest assessment about the people who are around you. Are there healthy relationships around you? Are they give and take, or are they just take? All right? Then you're going to slowly start to practice secure attachment, which means you're going to want to open up to safe people you can trust. Safe people you can trust, okay? All right, you may have to give some people the boot. That's what happens when we heal. Unfortunately, not everybody can go with us, okay? So you're going to have to Take a honest assessment about the people who are around you. Open up to safe people that you can trust. Okay, number 3, if you have difficulty trusting others, you are going to want to start small, and that is setting boundaries. You can start building trust and safe relationships by setting boundaries and by opening up. Now, don't go opening up to everybody, all right? We're not doing it. That's not what we're doing. We are not opening up to everybody. Your boundaries will let you know who you can trust. We need to be testing people out. We need to discern people's character, okay? And you will learn to trust the right people. The right people. Number 4, if you struggle with identity, self-worth, you are going to want to root your identity in what is true about you. And that is going to require self-discovery. Answer the question of, who am I? And you're going to surround yourself with people who will dig the gold out of you, okay? These people will speak life over you and into you until it becomes easier for you to do it yourself. Again, we are building a healthy community. Number 5, again, for my God girlies, if this is you and you have a distorted view of God, you are going to have to relearn who God is through his word and his character, not your earthly father. Start by noticing how you expect God to behave or react towards you. Are you bracing for rejection or some type of punishment or even the silent treatment? Okay? What are you bracing yourself for? Then I want you to go into scripture and I want you to find the truth in scripture that dispels those thoughts or those feelings. Okay? All right, I hope this is making sense and I hope that you're gathering some nuggets out of this, all right? I am going to take this time to close it out because like I said, I try to keep these things under 30 minutes. So let's close this out. We talked about a lot. There are some things that we are going to need to process. We need time to do these things, all right? So let me say this in closing. Healing begins with honesty. Give yourself permission to say, you know what? I went through this, or this person did this to me, and it hurt me. Don't minimize or dismiss the hurt that it caused. Acknowledge the wound without the shame, okay? Acknowledge that what happened, it was dishonoring to you. And as we heal, we are forgiving. We are not excusing, but we are releasing. Forgiveness is not saying, oh, what happened to me was okay, or what you did, get over it. No. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is saying, I refuse to allow this wound to define me anymore. Grieve what you lost or what you didn't have. Let yourself mourn the father you didn't have, the words you never heard, the moments that you didn't get to experience, okay? Give yourself permission to mourn those things. And I'm a writer, y'all. I like to write things down. That's one of my outlets. So I want to tell you, write it out. Write the letter. Write the letter to your father. You do not have to send it. I'm telling y'all, don't send it. Probably some of y'all don't need to send it. Okay? Write it out. Write the letter. But if you want to take it a step further, why not answer the letter? Answer the letter from a perspective of a good father, like a healed father, okay? As you heal, you will say what I am able to say. My dad did the best that he could from where he was in life. It is evident that he too had wounds. But my father wound no longer defines me or my future. Until next time, love you, girlfriend. Hey, girlfriend. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If this episode spoke to you, I encourage you to subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. New episodes drop every week, and I'd love to stay connected with you in between. So you can follow me on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I prefer TikTok. You can find me at It's Melissa Baez, or you can visit my website at www melissabaez.com for more encouragement and resources. So until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and I'll see you in the next episode.